Hey everyone, long time, not a long time, just a few days no vlog. I feel kind of bad because I was doing one like every day, just about, and then I kind of got busy and out of the habit and life interrupted and all that good stuff. So I want to do a video tonight and a couple of things. I wanted to say hi to my friend Deb in Denver. Oh, I almost scratched my nose. I just got right there. I didn't touch the nose. See, no nose touching. I'm not going to scratch my nose or touch my nose in this video. We'll see how that goes. Anyhow, my good friend Deb in Denver won my face. That's like, I want to scratch. Won the, let's see, Brains on Fire gave away a ticket to the Society of Word of Mouth conference that's coming up. And it was the ticket, admission, like registration and several other things I can't remember. But my friend Deb in Denver won, and Brains on Fire did a really funny video announcement of that, and maybe I'll put it in the little thing over here so you can see it because it's really funny. And Deb's going to be doing a video response to that, and I can't wait to see it. So, yay, Deb! Congratulations. But video response, I was on YouTube, and Michael Buckley had a new vlog yesterday, and it was about all these DVDs that Minisodes channel sent him, and he's talking about his 14 different TV shows, and he was going to talk about which ones he'd seen, and he'd seen them all, and he was so excited, and it was really cute, and a couple of them were TV shows I'd been recently talking about, so I thought and he said post which ones have you seen and what's your favorite and everything, so I thought I'd run through the list. And yeah, here's the list. So number 14 was One Day at a Time. And he had all the DVDs, so he could hold them up and everything. I almost touched. I didn't touch. I promise. Scout's honor. Well, anyhow, I didn't touch. So One Day at a Time. That was the one with the divorced mom with two teenagers and Franklin? What was his name? Anyhow, I can't remember. The superintendent of the apartment, or the maintenance guy, he always had the cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve. And I remember my mom used to always say, Bonnie Franklin was on that show. And she used to always complain and say Bonnie Franklin needed to wear lipstick because she never seemed to wear lipstick and her lips were very pale, and she should wear lipstick. And my mom wasn't even that much of a makeup person, so I always thought that was kind of funny. Number 13, Facts of Life. This just came up at work the other day because I just found out that one of my coworkers is related to Kim Fields, who played Tootie, who was the roller skating person. And this coworker is also related to Chauncey from Blackstreet. And it's funny because I really don't have a remembrance of Blackstreet, but there's a Kanye West song where he says, I'll never be picture perfect Beyonce, be light as Al B, or black as Chauncey. Remember him from Blackstreet? He was black as the street was. And I heard her talking about Chauncey, and I said, you mean Chauncey from Blackstreet? Who was black as the street was? And she just, cracked up. And so yeah, it turns out she's related to Chauncey. But anyhow, Facts of Life. See, I'm just running down the list. I've got the little list here. Made my little list. Check, check. Number 12, Charlie's Angels. I totally remember that show. And I used to think that they were the most glamorous, amazing women. And it's so cheesy now to watch, but I love it anyway. And I've got this crazy hair. But the guy, Charlie, who was always just on the speakerphone? That was John Forsythe, who played, what was his name? Blake Carrington on Dynasty. Anyhow, a little bit of trivia. Number 11, I Dream of Jeannie. I loved I Dream of Jeannie. Larry Hagman was so cute. It's hard, well, anyhow, it's hard to believe he became JR, but I loved that show. Number 10, The Partridge Family. I remember watching it sometimes. I wasn't really a big Partridge Family fan, but I always remember it fondly because you can't really see this very well in the video. But I have this birthmark right here on my neck, like right here at the center. And it's hard to really tell, and when I was younger, it was smaller. And it looked a little bit more, but my mom used to always say that it looked like a partridge. just like the partridge from the little logo or the title plate of the show. So that was all. She always called it my partridge. Number 9, All in the Family. Very controversial show, reactionary Archie Bunker, who's always dealing with, his own issues of racism and the world changing around him. It was a really great show and ahead of its time in a lot of ways. Number 8 is Bewitched. Another show I love. We were just talking about this on Flirk yesterday. Who was the better Darren, Dick York or Dick Sargent? I'm like, Dick York for the win. He was the best, the original, the one and only. Dick Sargent was always, I don't know, not my favorite. Plus, I have a really good friend who kind of looks like a cross between Jim Carrey and Dick York. So Dave, hi there. Hope you all are okay out in Houston, and looking forward to hearing from you. Hopefully you got power back. But when I was little, I remember, Samantha was a witch, and she practiced witchcraft. So, somebody is sending me an instant message saying, "Are you busy? Hang on a sec." Am I beefing your computer while you're recording? That's a new one. I did announce I was about to make a vlog, so anyhow, I remember very distinctly going to a craft store with my mother when I was very young, and not understanding why I couldn't find witchcraft supplies at the craft store. So anyhow, and I always wanted. Oh, now I can't touch my nose. I said I wasn't going to touch my nose, but how did she make her nose wiggle? And Michael Buckley in the video said, that it was something in the mouth where she could make her nose move, but not the mouth. I can't do it. And it's impossible not to furrow your brow when you're trying to do that. So you look in the mirror, try it, see if you can do it. Number 7 was Maude, and I remember watching Maude here and there. Not really very much because it was kind of more adult than I was interested in at that age, but very ahead of its time and controversial too. I believe Maude was the first television show in which a character had an abortion. And then the second, I think, was On All My Children. Susan Lucci, I do believe. I could be wrong about that. Number 6, Different Strokes. So, of course, what you're talking about, Willis. It's funny, as we go through the list, a lot of these are actually very, spin-offs of everything. Number 5 is Good Times. So many memories of that because my brother, in a lot of ways, used to remind me of JJ because he was really tall and skinny and had the big head. And, I remember JJ picking up the phone and saying, "Chalo." And, the dad would get mad. He'd be, taking off his belt, and Florida, the wife would be saying, "Oh, James, leave the children," It was just great. And then you had little bitty Penny Janet Jackson, who then went on to be on Different Strokes, and then went on to, do everything else she did. Heart to Heart, I distinctly remember watching. I couldn't tell you one thing about that show, but I do remember Stephanie Powers and Robert Wagner. And they were great and glamorous, and they kind of had this witty repartee, but it wasn't a comedy. It was, more serious, like a detective show. Hazel. I remember watching Hazel. Hazel was always like the female version of, what's his name? Ernie in My Three Sons. That's how I always thought of Hazel. Or maybe he was the male version of her. I don't know who came first. And why isn't My Three Sons on this list? But anyhow, I would put My Three Sons on there before Hazel. Number 2 is The Jeffersons, which is a spin-off of All in the Family, because the Jeffersons started out on All in the Family. And, stop. Oh. This person over here is trying to, yeah, you're funny. Very funny. So, a lot of things about the Jeffersons that I liked. You remember, he used to have Mr. Bentley walk on his back to, adjust his back or whatever, and the interracial marriage couple that was on the show, the woman was Roxy Roker, and she was Lenny Kravitz's mother. A little bit of trivia. I'm just throwing a little trivia in there to mix this up. And then number 1 was Silver Spoons with little Ricky Schroeder, who grew up to be Rick Schroeder, who it turned out, I mean, he was cute on the show. I mean, I didn't have a poster of him on my wall, but I definitely watched that show as a, preteen young girl. But he turned out pretty okay. Anyhow, so that is the list, and I think that's about it. I'm still enjoying life with the iPhone. I'm wearing my American Eagle sweats, softest sweats out there. If you haven't gotten some of the new American Eagle sweats, fabulous. I highly recommend it. They've got a buy one get one half off sale on right now. I just got the email about it before I started doing this. That's it. So now I want to watch, I want to turn on Nick at Night or something and watch some of these shows. But I'm not going to. I'm going to go over here and chastise this person for trying to bug me while I'm doing my video. So, bye-bye.